How about, hang on.
I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with these earbuds now. It's always something. Uh, it's aggravating. Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, okay. Well, as you all know, Sunday evening, a young lady was kidnapped from her job here in Arkansas, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, on Central Avenue from her job uh, at a little sweet shop called Pour Some Sugar on Me. Um, I was actually just there in that very same spot last week for my birthday and my daughter's birthday. And, this story just really wigged me out. Um, I do have I kind of have a little bit of bias, too, when, we have something here in Arkansas, because it's home. So, but last night and today, I have been trying to do a deeper dive into the kidnappers of Trynytee case. And it's it's actually a I don't even know how to I don't even know how to describe it, but there is a charge that they were charged with, and that I did not state in my update yesterday. They did assault this poor young little girl. I have trouble with the R word, but they did assault her. She was found exactly where I had a funny feeling she might be. When they told the story about the condos and stuff, and where her phone last pinged, which was on Highway 7. If you watched my lives on this, I told y'all that there was some sleazy motels out that way. Well, she was not at the sleazy motel I had a funny feeling that they could be at. Um, Samuel and Dayla were actually staying at the Sun Bay Resort in a condo. I don't know how long they'd been staying there, but they found her at a liquor store about a block away from the condos, um, up near the kind of sleazy motel I was telling y'all about. And they had let her go. And the police found the car. They took her to the hospital and had her checked out. They found the car and they took the two people in for questioning and then arrested them. This bothered me. Hey, Carrie Bishop, how are you? This really bothered me, because here you have a 38-year-old man and a 19-year-old girl. And the way that they kidnapped this girl is so typical of, like a pimp, getting one of his girls to to do things for him. And this wasn't necessarily a human trafficking situation. It seems to me, from what I gather, that they wanted them a little, how do I say this? They just wanted a little partner for the night. But little did they know that, there was going to be an all-out Amber Alert and an all-out huge search for this girl. And so, but it really bothered me that this girl was 19 years old that was with him. Dayla is 19 years old. And I thought, was she kidnapped too? Is she a victim? Is she reported missing somewhere? Why is this 19-year-old girl with a man 38 years old? Hey, Liplock, how are you? Well, come to find out, this isn't like a human trafficking situation. They did this for their own personal reasons, their own. I guess he wanted another young little girl for the night. But I have to admit, it's certainly not very often that I give a perp a second thought. But this is a 19-year-old girl we're talking about who was involved in kidnapping a 17-year-old girl straight off the street. So I have spent the day and night last night looking for where these people came from. And I could not find, for the life of me, could not find a record on Samuel Balling. I checked Tennessee, I checked Arkansas. I could not find a criminal record for him, which is odd. You don't just wake up one day and decide to do something like this. So I thought, he's got to have a record. He's got to be a sex offender or something. I couldn't find anything. And, ooh, that sounds good, Liplock. I'm probably going to be having a TV dinner here in just a little while I watch my Law and Order. It's Thursday night, y'all. It's Law and Order night. But I literally could not find a record or nothing on this guy. So I began looking into Dayla. And come to find out, the address that she gave in Atoka, Tennessee, which is right outside Memphis. When I looked up the property, I saw that it was a very nice house, 2.5 blocks from the high school. But apparently the police, come on, Smoke, get up here, buddy. Apparently the police in Hot Springs contacted the Atoka police, and they went and knocked on the door of this house, the address that she gave, And the people living there had no clue who she was. Did not know who he was. Didn't know anything about any of it. But her mother, that was her mother's home. Her mother is listed as being at that property as of 2017. I don't know if she's since sold the house and moved or what, but the people living there had no clue as who this young girl was or this man at all. Well, come to find out, she just graduated high school in May of 2021. She was a very popular girl in school. She was well liked. She had boyfriends her age. She posted a couple of there's some pictures of her with other boys on her social media. And she had graduated from high school in May and was looking forward to the future. And just a typical 19-year-old girl. Well, apparently sometime in just this year, just since 2022, she met this man, Samuel Balling, and became involved in a relationship with him voluntarily. She was involved with this man voluntarily. Now, if one of my daughters came home with a 38-year-old man, oh, hell no. Would not be happening. But, once they're 18 years old, you can't really, tell them what to do anymore. But by all accounts, this young lady was a sweet, popular, outgoing, fun, cute, typical 19-year-old girl. And sometime, apparently, if I've read into it right, she just met this man since 2022. This is mid-end April, so 4.5 months. She told her mother that she was moving to Arkansas to be with him. And, she came here to Arkansas from Memphis voluntarily. Where she met this man, how she met this man, how she got involved with a man twice her age, I have no idea. But when I look at him, the first thing I see is bodybuilder. The way he's built, you can tell that he's a bodybuilder or had been a bodybuilder. But now, apparently, I don't know if he's strung out on drugs or what. His mugshot is, his eyes are bugged out of his head. His pupils are dilated. And she looks nothing like what she did 5 months ago. But she came here voluntarily. Hey, Lisa, how are you? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how this relationship got started, where she met him, how she met him, or anything, and where her life took this horrible turn, but it did. Why they chose to move here, um, is peculiar to me. And I've wondered if he has some kind of previous ties to Arkansas, to Hot Springs. I found it odd that they were staying at the Sun Bay Resort because, I've been inside the Sun Bay Resort. It's been years ago, but from what I understand, the it's a nice place. It's right on Lake Hamilton, but it's a bit dated. Some people have described it as, it being kind of a 80s, it's not like any of these brand new, modern resorts. It's a resort it's been there for a while, because it's been years and years ago that I went there. But right up the road from that is the sleazy motel that I was telling y'all about, that I had a funny feeling that they might be at. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. Um, I'm very grateful that they let Trynytee go, and did the right thing, and they didn't even try to run, is the weird thing about it. That was something else I said. I'm like, I'm wondering if they're not here, here locally somewhere, or from around here somewhere locally. Then when the tags came out that they were from Tennessee, I thought, well, that's odd. But yeah, they didn't even try to run. So now I don't know how long they had been staying at that resort, if they'd been there a week. Lisa, I guess. I mean, to me, he looks like a bodybuilder. I know, Tennessee and Arkansas. What is it with Tennessee and Arkansas? To me, he looks like, he works out. He's got that bodybuilder look to him, and of course he may have had a little help from some steroids, but I can't find any kind of history on this guy, or any kind of criminal record, and or him being, a sex offender or anything. That's what's odd. So, how do you go from a matter of a few months of, you're a 19-year-old girl, you get involved with a 38-year-old man, all of a sudden you're telling your mama you're moving away with this grown man that's old enough to be your father, and then now look, the rest of her life is ruined. And I had even laid here last night and thought about even reaching out to her, since she's here locally, because I thought, this girl's a victim. Who knows what kind of parents she came from, or what kind of situation she came from, or anything. That was before I found out all the details that I found out. And it's not that I am siding with her. I'm certainly not siding with her, but I think you all probably understand how I feel. If this girl's a victim too, then no, they didn't have any weapons. Not that the police released. They didn't say anything about finding any kind of weapons or guns or anything. They lured her to the car because you can park there right there on the curb on the side on that sidewalk. You can park there, and they got her a little farther off. Yeah, I mean that's what I think. Lip lock. You know, I just before I and people online are already trashing this girl. She did all this willingly. She's not a victim. Don't feel sorry for her. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna be that quick to judge a 19-year-old girl involved with a 38-year-old man, luring and kidnapping a 17-year-old girl. I have enough sense to know. I know enough about pimping and young hookers and the human trafficking and all that kind of stuff to know better, and to know that this girl may possibly be a victim as well. I'm sure I'm going to go on a theory that she somehow started seeing him, and he started wooing. So yeah. Maybe he met her and was, wooing her and, getting her under his spell. And, what's the first thing that he does? He takes her off from home. He isolates her away from her family. Her family's back in Tennessee. I don't know if any problems there. It doesn't appear to me that she had any problems with her parents. So, I just don't know. Well, he must be a smooth talker. That he was able to, woo her as quickly as he did, and then just, hey, half pint, how are you? That he was able to woo her, and then, once he got her off from home, and once he got her off from Tennessee, with his baby. And you probably don't really love you and care about you, and then bam, the minute he, yeah, I'm probably buffering. And then the minute he gets her off from home, bam, the devil comes out. And then he starts making her do all this stuff. There is a report on there's a report on social media that a young man had an encounter apparently down on Central Avenue with them. So they must have chose Central Avenue as their hunting ground, and was down there, pulling little scams. They tried to sell him a pair of tennis shoes or something. And, I can't verify this, but yeah, that's what someone on social media was saying, was that a young man had an encounter with them, and they were trying to sell him some shoes. So, it's odd to me how in the world they were paying $100 and something a night to stay at the Sun Bay Resort. Seems to me they'd have been right down the road. Oh yeah, absolutely. The FBI, to my knowledge, the FBI did get involved. Of course, she was so quickly found. Thank God. Um, I don't know how much more they're going to stay involved. They didn't, they came across state lines, but they didn't take her across state lines. So, they may not, have any further. But yeah, it's just it's a very sad situation that could have ended very, very badly. There is a young lady, but she was kidnapped on federal park lands. Oh, yeah, that is Central Avenue is everything down there. Even my friend Donnie, his mom had a house there on Prospect, and I love this house. Such a cool house. What in the world? Them kids and them dogs. Everything's down there is on the historical registry. So, yeah, Susan, I would, wonder how much, but like I said, since they didn't take her back across state lines or anything, I mean, they're charged with felony kidnapping or, and, the R word, and, aggravated robbery, and, they have 5 charges. And so, yeah, they're not going nowhere. I don't, it's just, it's a confusing situation. It's, because, I just don't know anything about his past, where he comes from, and, what he's from Nashville. He's from the Nashville area, but what kind of job he had, where was he working, just don't know anything about him and his past. All I was able to know, they're on no bond. They're on a no bond. And the car, of course, was confiscated, and it's at the Garland County Jail. That was her car, brand new 2021 car. So, this girl didn't, she didn't have a bad life. She just apparently met this guy, and everything went to shit from, in a matter of a few months. But yeah, that's, I'm sure he is somewhat abusive to her. I mean, I'm old fashioned, but you think about being a 19-year-old girl and being in love with this older man, and he wants you to lure in another girl to be with y'all. I mean, that to me don't seem like that was probably her cup of tea. I don't want to think that this is something she wanted to do. It's just something that these scams that he was making her do. But no, excuse me, y'all. Hang on just a second. I don't see a sexually assault another young girl. You know, I don't buy that. So, I mean, I'm sure that he obviously, forced her into all this. I would like to, rather than speculate her story and try to put together, the bits and pieces that I can gather from her life on social media. Maybe this dude thinks he's another Epstein. I Maybe so. Um, this just didn't. They could, he was maybe from a low level trafficking ring, or just a low level pimp. But come to find out, they were in an actual relationship together, and she left home in Tennessee with him voluntarily to move to Arkansas, to Hot Springs. So, but she is an adult. She is 18 years old. And, I don't know how much leniency or how much, I guess it really depends on how much involvement she had, as far as yes, she lured her in, but like I said, that's typical. That's the typical play. How much she was involved in what they did to this poor girl will probably determine, whether or not they may possibly give her immunity and to testify against him. It just, like I said, it just depends on her story and how she acts, what she, tells the officers and whatnot. I assume that she'll need to get a public defender. I do know a couple of lawyers over in Hot Springs, but as far as I know, they're private attorneys. I don't know if they're but they've been attorneys there in Hot Springs for many, many years. So I don't know if they're on the list as public defenders or not. I don't know how that works. When you have a town, like a specific town. I mean, I know in my hometown, a lot of the attorneys that were private attorneys, but they were also, did public defender work as well. But there's not any court dates set for them. Hey, True Crime and Coffee, how are ya? There's not any court dates set as of yet. I'm not like these other creators. I'm not going to contact someone's family. Thank you. I'm not going to contact someone's family or people involved and hound them to death about information and hound them to death for interviews. I mean, I guess I wouldn't make a very good journalist, investigative journalist. But this is a very serious and sad situation, and I mean, I'd be losing my mind if my 19-year-old daughter were involved in something like this. Who knows if her family will come here and support her in any kind of way, or how she left things with her parents when she left Tennessee to be with this creepo. Like I said earlier, I was thinking last night about reaching out to her. Did I want to reach out to her? She's not going anywhere. What is their age difference? He's 38. She's 19. So he's old enough to be her dad. He's twice her age. But she went with him voluntarily. She left Tennessee to come to Arkansas and be with him, all voluntarily. So that's why, a lot of people are not looking at her as a victim or thinking of her as a victim, and they're, it's a rush to judgment. Oh, well, she's with him voluntarily, so she obviously did all this voluntarily. Yeah, I mean, he's fucking 10 times bigger than her. She's a little old bitty thing. And he's this big puffed up gorilla. But you can tell he's bugged out of his head. And probably broke, asked for only 10,000. Yeah, exactly. You know what? This is definitely one I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. I don't know. I guess it really depends on how much she cooperates in the whole investigation and how much she had to do. Thank you. Molly Crew is my favorite band. And how much involvement she had in the in what they did to this young lady once they took her. Were there drugs involved? Did they drug her? But I have a feeling he's got some ties to Hot Springs, apparently. Yeah, we don't know. But she apparently, from what I can gather, met him just sometime this year, as of 2022, and got involved with him. Before that, she was a happy-go-lucky graduate from Munsford High School, was a popular young girl, had, a few pictures of her posted with other boys, schoolboys her age. Yeah, I mean, she's guilty. She participated in this, but how, I mean, do you think that this is something that a 19-year-old girl would voluntarily want to do? Um, like I said, I think just like the typical abuser, he probably wooed and gooed her, and then they got together, and he pushed a little bit of a wedge between her and her parents, and she's like, I'm moving to Arkansas with him so we can be together, and left. And then then it's when they get you isolated is when the monster comes out in these types of guys. I just can't believe I can't find a past on him. Some kind of past. I just knew I would find him on a sex offender registry, or that he would have a criminal record like Don Wells, But I can't find anything. Yeah, she's messed her life up, and she's looking at sitting, in an Arkansas prison now for the rest of her life. Felony kidnapping is a Class C felony. And then you have aggravated I believe it's aggravated robbery. If it's aggravated robbery, then that means there was a weapon involved. So I will go back and verify that for sure. I do believe that it is an aggravated robbery charge. So, but they've also charged him with false imprisonment and the sexual assault charge as well. Like I said, we'll just have to see what she how she cooperates. I did happen to notice that she was booked into the jail about 3 hours prior to the time that he was booked into jail. She was booked into the jail around 1:30 or so, and a.m. And then he was booked into the jail sometime around 3:30, 4:30, something like that. So I do find that odd that she was booked in earlier. Like I said, they first just had him there for questioning, and then that late at night is when they actually arrested and charged them. They were just first questioning them as persons of interest, but then they placed them under arrest. So, but as of right now, as I said, there's not any court dates set or anything. I'm sure there will be soon. There because they'll have to be appointed public defenders and whatnot, or if by some means her parents, is their indictment no, they're just, as of right, that's all I know. As of right, they are booked into the Garland County Jail, and they are charged with felony kidnapping, aggravated robbery, false imprisonment. I think there's one other charge, and then there's the RAPE charge. And they're both being charged with the same charges. So, we'll just have to see how all this plays out. And whether or not they possibly offer her some kind of a deal, to testify against him. And maybe well, like I said, I don't know how long they've been here in Hot Springs. But there is a young lady that was kidnapped, or I'm sorry, she went missing. She was last seen walking in her neighborhood from Cabot, Arkansas. Cabot, Arkansas is north of me. And I went and looked at the area of where this young girl lived, and it's not far, off of the major highway, 67, 167. And there are, it looks to me like she lives in a neighborhood back in behind some major restaurants and whatnot there, at Cabot. So if they were possibly involved with this young girl, maybe they pulled in at Cabot to get gas, get something to eat, whatnot. And maybe they thought, well, let's drive around and look for us a young girl. I don't know. As of right now, we don't know, but it's very peculiar, that Cabot is about maybe 2 hours away from Hot Springs. But like I said, I can't, there's nothing so far to say that, the two kidnappings are connected. So, but I'm just floored. Like I said, I was just there at Fat Bottom Girls Cupcakes, right next door to the little sweet shop she worked at, Pour Some Sugar on Me, there on Central Avenue a week ago, sitting there on those same benches on that same sidewalk while my daughter and granddaughter went and got the car. And that kind of thing just don't give you a very easy feeling. And yeah, it does. And it is just such a dangerous and crazy and wild, evil and horrible world we're living in right now. Not what has it not, I don't even think it's been 2 weeks since Naomi was snatched out of a Walmart parking lot and brutally killed. People are just snatching folks off the street. And then you got these people that are killing their children and leaving their little bodies out in the woods. Crime is you may not realize how bad crime is unless you're like all of us who are true crime junkies. Um, Kids are being kidnapped. Kids are going missing. Um, oh yeah, well I will. I'll be over there after a while. Arctic Fox. I have to watch my shows tonight though. It's Law and Order night. I normally don't even get on YouTube. Lisa, I was thinking about the thought crossed my mind to reach out to the 19-year-old girl that's in jail. Some may not think that that's a good idea. Some people might not think that, why are you reaching out to this girl? She was involved in doing these horrible things. I don't believe that she did this voluntarily. Like I said, I don't know the complete history of how they met and what the circumstances were and whatnot, but it seems to me just as soon as he got her away from Tennessee and talked her into leaving Tennessee, the monster came out. I just cannot imagine a 19-year-old young girl wanting to voluntarily kidnap and assault and do the things that they did to this 17-year-old girl. Maybe I'm wrong. This girl may be a little effing bitch. Who knows? But like I said, it's just I've thought about it. I'm not gonna rush. She gonna be here for a while, so I'm not gonna rush. It's not something I'm gonna rush into. I'm gonna sit and ponder and think about it for a while. See what maybe other news and what the police uncover, any more into the investigation. But I found it odd that Hot Springs police did contact Ataka police, and they went to the address that she gave, and no one there knew this girl. Her mother is on social media. Hi, Easy Rose. How are you? I don't know if I would want to contact the mother or not and see if she'll talk to me. Like I said, I'm not like some of these others out here that will hound somebody to death for an interview or anything like that. This is to me, this is a touchy subject. And if this were my daughter, people contacted me on Facebook wanting to talk to me about what my daughter did. I would probably be hitting the block button. So, but it was Dayla that I thought about reaching out to her and just, who knows if she would even talk to me, but I just felt like I wanted to know this young lady's story of how in the hell she got in this predicament, and know whether or not was she kidnapped, was she missing from somewhere, what the situation is. That's, that's what I was wondering about. And, was this possibly some low level trafficking, or low level pimping or whatever? That's what I really wanted to find out about. So, um, of course, I will let you all know what I decide to do. Um, are there any other girls? As of right now, no. They don't believe there's not any other girls so far. But there was this young lady that was kidnapped a week ago. I believe Arctic Fox has a video on her, who is missing out of Cabot, Arkansas. And Cabot is about 2 hours north of Hot Springs. But there's nothing to indicate that the two crimes are connected, but you never know. I'm sure if they are connected, they'll get a confession out of her, probably. Yeah, Cabot's not far from me. My former best friend lives in Cabot, and Cabot's a pretty, I call it kind of a snooty place. And this girl that was kidnapped, or that is missing from Cabot, very nice neighborhood and all. But there's not, don't really have a whole lot of information about that case. But I do believe Arctic Fox has a video on her. So, let's now, those of us here in Arkansas, let's now be on the lookout for her. And if I have two devices going, does it mean I have a problem? No, we, if I had two devices to have going, I probably would have them going myself. But I'm going to go ahead and end this live. I believe Arctic Fox is starting his live, and I want to, of course, hear what he has to say on the case that he's reporting, and I'm sure you all do too. Any other updates on the Trynytee case? I will let you know. I will let you all know, what more I find out about these abductors, and what more I find out about Dayla. I will certainly let you all know. But so I'm going to go ahead and end this evening, and let's go over and see what Arctic Fox has got going on. And everyone, as always, please be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everyone. See you soon.